last month on our November eConsult or our October eConsult Workgroup call, we talked a little bit about our 2021 objectives, and I think Dr. Payan, Dr. Kirsch, and our last panel really reminded us that the word patient needs to be up here. So as we look at our vision for 2021, that's our good reminder to make sure not to lose sight of the patient input. And Timmy, I don't know if you want to speak to our objectives and one last, say a few last words before we go into our wrap up.
Yes, again, thank you, everyone. And we always use this time to reflect on the year. It's been, definitely not what we had anticipated. We thank you for everyone to be able to kind of stick with us. And we did some rapid addressing some of the needs as when COVID-19 hit. And thank you for all of you who really stood up programs that were, met the need at the time. And as we move forward for 2021, we heard loud and clearly today the need for us to, make sure that our lens has equity, meeting and ensuring that eConsult is available to all, and that we're not creating this digital divide that we're trying to close. I also think the key term that we heard was this idea of co-opetition. That I think when we reflect from the panel that we had last year with the IPAs and medical groups who were standing up their programs, this year we were able to really make some inroads of seeing how to work together and to be able to share successes. And also, I think importantly, as communities are adopting eConsult, as we saw with IAHP, how do we standardize how we're evaluating the success of eConsult, and where might there be communities that aren't being addressed? And I'm really hopeful that we're going to see over the course of this next year a lot of rapid progress there as we just kind of go community to community and knock on doors, virtual doors of those payers to ensure that the eConsult programs are being supported and providers are being supported in their quest to adopt. And I'm just going to note that our panel around with the work that's being done at the Peterson Center on Healthcare, with their important work bringing together CMMI and commercial payers, that we'll hopefully be able to start really seeing a real sea change of payers coming to the table that are adopting eConsult across all of their business lines, and that Medicare Advantage is there in spades as well. So Libby and I and the team will be, making sure that we are bringing additional voices to the table to be able to close that loop. I think also we're in Blue Path, we're being pulled into many, many more advanced payment models, and thinking about how primary care is really, really ripe for infusion of innovation and different ways for payment, including, having access to payments up front, and then some type of a reconciliation or a shared savings model at some other time point. And when I look at that, I think that eConsult is table stakes, that we really can't get to these advanced care models without tools where eConsult is an essential tool. So, where we can kind of bridge those different silos of within an organization of programs that are, advancing all, terrific new payment models, but also advancing innovation. Hopefully we can start seeing those fuse together. And then finally, I guess not finally, two more points on the regulators. Didn't have a lot of regulator voice on today, and we generally do. I think we really wanted to spend the time highlighting where we're seeing a lot of progress, and leave it to us and for those of us that are working day to day with policymakers and the regulators to to really champion your voice. And I really welcome you to reach out if there's a need to be able to either reach to your state regulator or policymaker, legislative as well. I think we have the evidence base, and we clearly have the network as evidence here to be able to pull on who you need to be able to tell those stories, and also kind of get over the finish line and advance at least reimbursement in your state. And then finally, the research. We constantly pride ourselves that we're looking at and being able to disseminate some of the best research that's out there. I know Libby will be talking about who's on our next call next month. And I also welcome you to be able to make sure we're connecting the dots. And if you are aware of some new research or a case study, make sure that we know it, and we'll make sure we get it in the hands of those that are, following us and, are looking at advancing eConsult. So back to you, Libby.
Great. So I think we've said a few times how grateful we are for our eConsult sponsors, our eConsult Workgroup sponsors for 2020, so many of whom shared wonderful examples of their work today and also hosted our fireside chats that many of you were able to participate in this morning. Many of you asked for these recordings. They'll be posted to our eConsult Workgroup website. So thank you again to our sponsors and to CHCF for supporting our work. We have an exciting announcement, and that is that so many of you have contributed over the past 5 years to our eConsult toolkit that many of you referred to today, and it's really your work that we are featuring. So many great programs from across the country are featured on eConsultToolkit.com. Now, after 5 years, we're revamping it and refreshing it, and we today are revealing eConsultWorkgroup.com. So this is now live. You can now go to see the same great resources in terms of published research, so many resources that you've provided with us or to us. Please keep sharing those with us. We really appreciate all your contributions. Once again, we have our monthly webinars. We have our policy and reimbursement tracking from not just California, but other states and what we've learned in terms of reimbursement from across the country and Canada. So thank you to the Canada team if they happen to be on today. And we want to keep building those case studies and examples to be able to share with you. And we last want to thank all of the experts and vendors and groups who have provided resources throughout COVID-19. We do have a special dedicated page for resources related to the pandemic. So as I mentioned, you can go to eConsultWorkgroup.com to see our upcoming events. You can also go to our old toolkit, which will be up for a while, so that you can see our resources posted to both sites. And last, I think, Timmy, you've given a little bit of a pitch tomorrow, and Robbie also gave a pitch tomorrow for our California Telehealth Policy Coalition meeting that's taking place tomorrow. And I'm just going to give a few minutes for what we'd like to, if everyone could just take a few minutes to respond to our very brief survey. It'll take 3 minutes or less. Timmy mentioned our next step is our December work group, which you can mark your calendar for now, December 16th. We're very pleased to feature recent publications every month, and we are going to highlight Amber Larson and James Wheeler, who are presenting eConsult Innovation, a middle ground model to enhance adoption and improve care, from their recent New England Journal of Medicine publication. So with that, please visit our new eConsultWorkgroup.com. Reach out to us at eConsultWorkgroup@BluePathHealth.com. And I want to do a quick thank you to Karen Shore and her team, who have kept us flowing all day today. And right now, Karen is going to put up our survey as we close. Thank you for your time today. Please take a couple of minutes to respond to our brief survey. And thanks for participating. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, everyone.